Hello, fourth graders. I hope you're off to a wonderful Wednesday and I hope you're prepared for language. Let's go ahead and get started. We have been talking about verbs recently, and kind of the star of the verbs are the action verbs. Those are the ones that we can do. We can sit, we can sing, we can listen, we can play, jump, and run. We've been talking about that verbs can happen at different times. That time is called tense. Tense equals times, and there are 3 times where verbs can occur. They can happen right now. Think about what you're doing right now. Hopefully you are watching. That's happening right now and you're continuing to watch. Yesterday you watched. In the future you will watch. So in review, present is happening now, like watch. Past has already happened. In the past, we watched a movie. Future, what will happen one day. And yesterday we talked a lot about the present tense verbs. Let's review those quickly and review our subjects in these sample sentences. Sentence number 1 says, Maya and Anaya work hard. Who or what is the entire sentence about? Who are the stars of this sentence? Maya and Anaya. I will underline them one time. They are my subjects. What are they doing? They are working. They're working right now. Hopefully they're listening and watching. I miss you guys. So we mark our verbs by underlining them twice. Always, always. 2 underlines. The next sentence. We live in Mississippi. Who or what live in Mississippi? We do. We is the subject. What are we doing? We live is our action verb. Sentence number 3, the students study for the test. Who or what is the star of that sentence? You are, the students. What are you doing? Studying. Sentence number 4, the children enjoy the music. Oh, I miss our music times together. I can't wait for us to have those again one day. The children, star of this sentence, you're the subject. What do? You enjoy. All of these verbs, work, live, study, enjoy, are present tense verbs, and that's what we talked about yesterday. Today, we're moving from present tense to when things have already happened. We say when they've already happened that they've occurred in the past. In the past tense. It's something that has already occurred or something that has already happened. Now, if I want to take these sentences and change them so that they're not happening now, but to show that they've already happened, I might need to make some changes to those verbs. There's actually 5 different rules that we're going to be going over today, and these rules only apply for if a verb has taken place in the past. The first rule is this. For most verbs, you're going to change from a present to a past by just adding ed. Walk. I'm doing that right now. Walked happened in the past. I will just add ed. I have just changed that verb from a present tense to a past tense by adding ed to the end of that word. My second rule is if you have a word that ends with an E, you will drop that E before you add ed. Otherwise, you would have M-O-V-E, E-D, and we're not going to have that. So we are going to erase and replace with ed. And you're done. Rule number 3, double the final consonant. Now you will only double the final consonant and add ed if you have a short word and it ends with a vowel and a consonant. But that vowel, remember our vowels? A-E-I-O-U are vowels. A-E-I-O-U are vowels. A-E-I-O-U are vowels. All the rest are consonants. So this vowel must say its short sound. Ah, ah, ah. If it says it's short sound and a consonant comes after it, we will double that final consonant. And then we will do what we've done for Rule 1 and Rule 2. We will add an ed. Remember how I said past typically ends with the D sound, that ED. Here's how we're adding those. Rule number 4. If you have a word that ends with a Y, we're going to do like what we always do when we have a word that ends with a Y. We must back up and see what kind of letter comes in front of that. If we have a consonant that comes in front of the Y, I see a consonant, change the Y, there it goes, to an I and add ED. Carried. And our 5th and final rule for today. If you have a word that ends in Y and you back up one letter and you see that that letter is not a consonant but instead it's a vowel, just add an ED. You always need to back up and see what comes in front of that Y though, whether to drop it and make it a Y or just in this case, add an ED. I'm adding an ED because a vowel comes in front. Otherwise, it would be S-T-A-I-E-D. That's a lot of vowels in a row, okay? So we're going to apply these rules to these sentences and see if we can change them, okay? So Anaya and Amaya, they're working right now, but let's say that Maya and Anaya have already worked hard yesterday, and I hope you two girls did. I know you did. So we're going to use just our very first rule for this. We're just going to add an ED to the end, and it's good to go. For the next one, we live. Live is happening now. But you know I don't live in Mississippi right now. I've already lived there. I lived there when? In the past. In the past. So what I'm going to do is examine this verb carefully. It ends with what letter? An E. So according to my rules, if a word ends with an E, I will drop that E and then add on an ED to that. And that's good to go. We lived in Mississippi. The third one, the students study for the test. I love these because they end with Y. I don't know why, but I do like the ones that end with a Y. Some of you got that. Okay, so I have to back up. What kind of letter comes in front of the Y? A consonant. I see a consonant. Change the Y to an I and add ED. Studied. And we're good to go there. Last one. The children enjoy the music. I hope you've enjoyed our classical pieces of the week and our masterpieces of the month, and I miss sharing those with you so, so much. I tell you what, I might share some of those with you in future lessons, so stay tuned. Okay, this last one. The children enjoy. Let's change that from present to past, so it needs to end with that D sound. But it ends with a Y. These are my favorites, and I don't know why they're my favorites. They just are. The rule for Y is we must back up one letter and see what comes in front of that letter, that Y. I see a vowel. So just add an ED. Enjoy, enjoyed. Okay, it's time for us to move over to our bookworks. I'm going to move my monitor here, so bear with me. You're kind of seeing a little bit more of the classroom here. Looks so different without you guys in it. I'm going to try to put it so you can see the rules and our classwork at the same time. There's a little bit of a glare, but there's not too much I can do about that. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our book, if we haven't already, to our pages for today. There they are, 203, 204, just following your We Get a Glance there. And I've already gone over all of the top part together. It has all of our rules. Let's jump down to that guided practice. I'm going to guide you through this a little bit. For the first section, they're already giving us the present tense verb, but our task is to change it to the past tense using our rules for today. Let's look at that first verb. The verb is invent. Invent. The Chinese didn't invent it now. They have already invented it before and in the past. For this one, we're just going to add an ED to the end. and we're done. Look at number 2. Our art teacher show happens right now. We want to show that show is happening before, in the past. Let's add an ed. And number 3, this is where it gets a little tricky. Recycle. Everybody look at the end of recycle. What letter does recycle end in? Say that loud. 1, 2, 3. E. Hopefully you said an E there. We have a rule for E, and we need to drop the E for this word. We're going to drop the E and replace it with ED. Okay. Now for this next section, 4 through 8, it helps me for this section if I go back and remember what is the original spelling of the present tense verb. Look at number 4. They're wanting us to decide which version has been spelled correctly. The original spelling of the word is C-O-P-Y. I need to think of that first, and then I will apply my rule. What's the rule for Y? You must back up and see what comes in front of that. I see a consonant, change the Y to an I and add ED. Did they do that rule correctly for the first option or for the second? Let's underline the first 2 times. We're underlining it 2 times because it's a verb, and we're always going to underline our verbs 2 times. Let's look at number 5. Think about how the word is spelled originally in its present tense form. Stir. I like to think of that first. Stir. Now, that is a very short word. It doesn't end with a Y, so I'm not using my Y rules. But it is a short word, and it ends with a vowel and a consonant side by side. So we're going to use our double rule. That means we are going to double that final consonant before we add on the ED attachment. Can you find which one that they have followed that rule correctly and underline it twice now? Does yours match mine? I hope so. Let's keep going. Squished, squished. Which one did they add an ED to? The first one. Number 7, help. That's the original form, helped. Now, help is a short word, yes, but does it end with a vowel and a consonant side by side like stir? No, it doesn't. It ends with a vowel, consonant, consonant. So there's no need to do the doubling here, not in the least. And number 8, decorate is happening now. We want to show that the room has already been decorated before. Now, decorate might be a little tough for you, but let's think about how we would originally spell it. What letter would it end with? If you said E, good job. The rule for that says that we need to drop the final E before we add ED. Otherwise, we're going to have E-E-D. We're not going to choose this one. Let's choose the second one. Okay, so once again, our lesson for today has been about the past tense verbs, verbs that have already happened. They're not happening right now. We have a couple of rules that we need to keep in mind. Our first rule is just add an ED. The second rule is if you have a verb that ends with an E, you are going to need to drop that E before you add the ED. If it's a short word with a vowel and consonant side by side, it says it's short sound, double it first, then add ED. If it ends with a Y, remember those Y rules. Back up to see what comes in front. I'd like for you to go ahead and try the back page at this time. Do the best that you can. Circle any ones that you have troubles with, and we'll discuss them during our FaceTime. Talk to you later. Have a wonderful Wednesday.